I sent them a photograph of me hanging upside down in a harem costume with my hands tied behind my back while they dripped oil on my feet to torture me, saying, "Speak, speak," you know. We're supposed to take that really seriously.
One way the girl from U.N.C.L.E. made an impact was on fashion. Stephanie Powers' mod outfits were the forerunners of a major new trend.
I was spending a lot of time in England, very well accustomed to the lifestyle in London on Carnaby Street shops. I brought a lot of clothes back from Carnaby Street, so I wore a lot of those clothes on the show. My little boots and my little caps and all these sort of things, which was very much not on television at the time.
Neither the girl from U.N.C.L.E. or Honey West caught on with audiences. Both lasted just one season. It would be 7 more years before a woman would again headline a TV crime drama. This time, audiences were ready. Policewoman was an immediate hit when it premiered in 1974. But Angie Dickinson was no newcomer. She was an established star who had paid her dues, starting back in her hometown in North Dakota.
I lived in the plains of North Dakota, and we were so poor we didn't even have sand.
In her early 20s, Dickinson wasn't sure what to do with her life until she won a contest that led to her first TV appearance.
I entered a beauty contest. Out of that came a job to be on a show, and what opened my eyes was this environment. I thought, this is where I want to be. At last I know where I want to go in my life. I want to be in this business. I mean, I was not stupid. Anybody else would have done the same thing, seeing Frank Sinatra and Jimmy Durante rehearsing a song. It was the Colgate Comedy Hour, which was on every Sunday.
In Hollywood, Dickinson's career blossomed quickly.
Oh, Bill, right when I thought I had my life all planned and ordered, why did you have to come along?
Her breakthrough role came in Rio Bravo, where she played John Wayne's love interest. At a time when most young actresses were emulating Marilyn Monroe, Angie Dickinson had a very different persona as a woman who could be one of the guys.
Because I did play poker. I did go to baseball games. I liked men, and I do to this day. People say, "You really like men, don't you?" And I said, "Yeah, I do." And some people don't. I mean, they're not comfortable with men.
By the early 1970s, Dickinson was focused on raising her daughter and had no interest in television.
No, I didn't want to do that. I said, I just can't. I have a family. And he said, "Don't you want to be a household name?" And that did it. I did want to be.
Angie Dickinson signed to star in Policewoman, but expectations for the series were not high. Even Dickinson's husband thought the show would fail.
I was married to a composer at the time, Burt Bacharach, and they asked him if he would do the song, and he said, "No, I'm working on something else." Well, he wasn't. He just didn't want to be embarrassed. Nobody thought it would be a hit.
Any good?
At what? Well, I enjoy myself.
Policewoman played off Dickinson's alluring persona. The writers put her in sexy situations as often as possible.
If I was a sex symbol, I was very comfortable with it because it was just what I was. I didn't have to embellish it or work on it or change my style or anything. It was just what I was, so I didn't have a problem. but I was thrilled to a point. Then I didn't want to be just a sex symbol. I wanted to be an actress.
Opposite down.
It was a heroine. I loved being a heroine, and I loved that she was allowed to be sexy and still a hero. It's not an easy combination. We weren't out to break down any barriers. As a matter of fact, the feminists didn't like that I didn't use my forum to be more feminist and more active, be more of an activist on their behalf. But I always said, well, I'm feminine, and I'm not a feminist. In '74, you still turned your head when you saw a woman in a uniform. And it, oh, look, there's a lady cop. It still very much was out of the ordinary in '74. But I still didn't think I was a role model. I only thought, I'm not going to get home till 8 o'clock.
Dickinson agreed to every storyline the writers came up with, except one, the one scene she would not do.
I only refused to do one show, and that was where they had me driving an 18-wheeler. And I said, I just won't do it, because she couldn't. She just couldn't, and if she could, it would be absurd. I mean, I don't have muscles like that would take to just steer the damn thing.
While the Policewoman series was innovative for putting a woman in the lead role, its scripts didn't venture far from the standard plot lines.
Did 91 shows. I used to run into an actor. He said, oh, I did one of your shows. I said, oh, I'm sorry, I don't remember which one, the drug bust. I said, oh, no. No, you got to be a little more clear about it than that. When you do 22, 23 shows a year, you have to repeat. There are just so many stories. And that's what happens to a series like that. It just ran out of good ideas and good steam, and you can just, save the woman on the railroad track so often.
Like most crime dramas, Policewoman's storylines followed an investigation, with the audience learning facts as the characters did. But one crime drama turned the formula upside down.